The RX 970 XT was a huge success, including the RX 9070. So in this video, we're going to be crafting a gaming PC over on PC Part Picker around the RX 9070 XT. You know, I don't really like to waste time. Now, let's get right into it. So here we go. We are going to be starting with our GPU, the Radeon RX 9070 XT, the 16GB version. I don't know if there's any other version, but this is the only version that I know. It's available on Amazon right now, going at around $1,040. So this is the GPU that we're going to be going with, the Gigabyte Radeon RX 9070 XT, gaming OC 16GB version, PCIe Gen 5. This graphics card right now is often compared with the RTX 5070 Ti, which I found this graphics card to be better than the RTX 5070 Ti, because this one can actually give you the same performance, or if not better than the 5070 Ti in some games, but cheaper than the 5070 Ti at the same time. And also 24-pin for power connector, which is mind-blowing, which means this graphics card can kind of like consume a lot of power. But you know, for a 4K 1440p GPU, this is actually understandable. But right now on New York, this GPU is kind of like out of stock, and it was going up at around $742, which was very cheap. Right now this GPU is on popular demand. That's why right now it's pumped out to $1,000. So to pair with the 9070 XT, I went with the Ryzen 5 9600X 6-core 12-threaded CPU. I would recommend that you go with the 7700X if you have some extra cash, but right now I'm going to be going with the 9600X. This is a good CPU that can actually fully utilize the 9070 XT. It's available right now on Best Buy, going at around $280. Now another CPU that I would recommend on the Intel side is the i7 12700K. It's actually cheaper than the 9600X, and it has 12 cores on top of that. And you can actually go with the cheapest one. You can save $20. You can go with the 12700KF, or you can also buy the expensive one, which does not make sense, the 12700F. Now, I would really recommend that you go with the 12700KF right now, because it's actually the cheapest, and you already have a graphics card, so you don't need to buy the one with integrated graphics right now. Moving on, next, we are gonna be going for our cooler to cool down our CPU. For cooler, I went with this one. It's very different and very expensive. I would recommend it, but it's just a matter of taste at some point. I went with the Fractal Design Lumen. Right now in New York is $135. It's very cheap on New York. I wouldn't recommend that you go and buy it on Amazon. That's why we compare prices before we buy stuff. The 9600X doesn't really need an AIO, but we are going for aesthetics. You could downgrade this one and go with it 7700X. That's something that I would actually really recommend. So coming up next, we are gonna be going for our motherboard, the Gigabyte B850 Eagle Wi-Fi 6. Unfortunately, it's not Wi-Fi 7. Right now, this motherboard is going out at around $170 on Amazon. It's actually where it's cheapest the most, and you can also find it on Newegg, but I wouldn't really recommend Newegg right now. So coming up next, we're gonna be going for our RAM, or memory at the same time. Or memory in other words. Team Group T-Create Expert 32GB 2x16GB DDR5 running at 6000 MHz with CL timing of 30 for $91 or something like that. This memory is kind of like tricky, because sometimes you will find it at around $90 or maybe $89, but right now it's at $91. You can also find it on Newegg going at around $91. Now you could go with at least a higher frequency. You could go with a 6400 MHz, well, your CPU is actually capable of doing that, and our motherboard is actually also capable of going with 8400 MHz. But this RAM right now doesn't actually have 8400 MHz. You have to go with a different RAM sticks. Coming up next, we're going to be going for our storage, the Crucial P3 Plus 2TB Gen 4 NVMe solid state drive, going at around $115. 2TB storage with read speed of 5000 megabytes per second and write speed of 4200 megabytes per second. PCIe Gen 4. I know our motherboard supports PCIe Gen 5, but we're going to be going with Gen 4 right now, you know, just to save a little bit of cash. But we could go with Gen 5, but we don't really need Gen 5 speed right now, because you know, Gen 4 is also good as well. Now coming up next, we're going to be going with our case. The reason why I went with Fractal Design for AIO is because I went with Fractal Design for case. So the case where I went with here is the Fractal Design Pop XL. This case is actually flexible. You can go with a mid-tower case which has 3 ARGB fans. Right now we're going to be going with the black version with 4 ARGB fans. This is a full tower case. Oh well, it's not ARGB, it's RGB fans. Same as our AIO, is RGB, not ARGB, but you could go with ARGB case if you want. That's what's also interesting about desktop PC building, because you have like a lot of options. For the power supply, I'm gonna go with the MSI Meg A750GL PCIe Gen 5 750 watt 80 plus gold certified fully modular ATX power supply. The power supply right now is going at around $95 on Amazon, and on Newegg is going at around $100, which is kind of like expensive. On Newegg, I wouldn't recommend Newegg. You should go ahead and check it out on Amazon. This whole system will actually need at least around 493 watts, which means 750 is plenty for now, which is good if you ask me. So anyway, moving on, we're gonna be going for aesthetics. Aesthetics, you don't really need to do aesthetics. Aesthetics should come last. That's why I always bring it last. But you don't need to do it if you don't want to. You can actually go with something else if you don't want to. So I went with Asia Horse power supply sleeve cable. I went with a black and gray, if you can see it here in the picture, to match our theme. You can go with something else like purple, black and purple, black and white, black and blue, white, or whatever the color is, or fully white if you are building a full white gaming system, or brown. It's cheaper depending on which color you are going with. So very cheap, very affordable, $33 right now on Amazon. So now the total price of this build will be $2,018.82. Now that is too expensive. I was actually targeting $2,000, but that didn't work, which was horrible. I'm sorry, you can actually forgive me. I'll do better next. Please hit that like, share and subscribe button. That can be very good for my channel. And if you want to see some other videos that I made crafting builds, you can actually check it out. I'm pretty sure they're going to pop up on the screen right now. Now, see you in the next video.